What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Technician Podcast. Today is fucking episode 100, and I've got my man Chris Griffin here, and bro, I couldn't be more grateful for you being a part of this. I see the impact you're leaving on the world right now. It's making me fucking emotional to talk about it because I see me in you. I've got 10 years on you, but to think that you're starting right now and you have the people around you that can help elevate you to the level that you deserve to be, that makes me excited for you. So thank you, bro, and welcome.
Pumped to be on, man. It's exciting to have a good chat with you, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a place where knowing we've got mutual friends already, and that's, for anyone listening, the reason I got Chris on was that one of my best mates chatted to him for about 5 hours the first time he met him.
At my house, first time met, on the couch.
Yeah, and that to me, if we talk about networking, bro, word of mouth is everything. You can't go past the old school methods of marketing. And I'm at a point now of my mentoring and coaching where someone will just hear about me because of the impact I left in their life, which is really fucking cool. And I would really like to know for you, what does impact mean for you and what you're doing?
I'll talk about impact in a second, but I want to talk about that networking piece for a second as well.
It's a great topic.
You reached out to me off the back of speaking with Nev. Now, secondhand compliments from someone's, like secondhand gratification or secondhand things from, say, for example, I can tell you how great I am.
Of course.
But if Nev tells you how great I am, you're going to actually believe what he says because you trust his input. So with networking, the ultimate in is getting told how good you are by someone else. I'm not saying how good I am, but just getting complimented, right?
Yeah.
And so it's networking one-on-one, but those things are so powerful because if you realize that, you actually take the conversation seriously with people that actually matter, and knowing that their input and their thoughts on you is going to go way beyond just your connection, and they're going to intrude to all these other people, especially if they're successful in business. Because what I found is when you're speaking with people that are successful in business and they're older than you, they see their younger self in you.
Yeah, like I just said.
Like you just said, right? And through that, they go, oh, I want to be able to help this person. I want to be able to tell other people about this person because I'm shocked myself. So if you leave a good impact on someone in a connection or conversation like I did with Nev, it's going to lead into many more opportunities. And I think that's been an emphasis on my whole journey so far from the age of 16 when I've been getting into these networking rooms and learning different things that I knew nothing about. Like that's been the emphasis, and it's been a massive reason as to why I've been able to, speak with certain people in my life. But you spoke about impact, and impact for me, I've been pondering on it a lot and just thinking about what actually matters. And, you can make all this money, you can meet all of these people, but what trumps all of that is when someone comes up and hugs me on the street and says, thank you for being you. Oh. And you go down and like when that happens, when you can help someone and you quite literally can watch their life change through your input, like that is the shit that actually matters. That's not fleeting. Like that doesn't wear off. It doesn't get old. And as the numbers grow on social media and, you gain 1,000 followers and all it goes up is a 1 next to the 250,000, it's numbing.
Yep.
But when you just see one person come up and say something to you, that gives you goosebumps, and it makes you feel more grateful than anything else, and it reminds you to keep going. And so I've really been understanding that, because then when you go into things like, when you make all this money, it's cool, but it will wear off. When you get to a point in your life where the money you make will not change the lifestyle that you live, then what value does it actually have? The value it has is just the pursuit of earning the money and the characteristics you build on that way. But it's not actually the paper in your hand off the back of it.
100%, bro. And I resonate with so much of that. And even what you said around having that one person come up and go, you changed my fucking life. As you said, it means so much more than the dollars that come through your bank account. And then let's add those two together. Imagine getting paid for doing that, which is, I'm assuming, is that part of what you're doing now with what you're growing and what you're building? You're earning money through sponsorships and things like that now?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, where I made a lot of my money last year was through coaching and one-on-one coaching.
Epic, yeah.
And recently dropped all of that. It's not that I didn't want to keep making impact. It was so amazing helping people and transforming their lives. I posted something on my story the other day about someone that messaged me after, like 4 months after we had finished. He unfortunately had to finish the coaching early due to some stuff in his life, but he still kept all the resources and he did all the stuff. And 4 months later, he reaches out with this massive paragraph and it warmed my heart. But I stopped doing that because of how mentally draining it was on me and taxing it was on me.
Full on.
If I do these 1 hour sessions helping people find purpose and meaning in their life, or 90-minute sessions, I might be working on a new startup that I'm building, and then I have to interrupt that flow with, say, 3 hours of coaching with a couple of clients and hearing about certain problems they might be going through and helping them through a really uninspired phase of their life. It was so fulfilling, but yet I would get off the back of that and I would feel really drained.
Yeah.
You spoke about conversations where people take instead of give.
Yeah.
And that's how I would feel. And so with that, I kind of was like, there's a better way I can give impact. There's got to be more of a macro, at a macro scale that I can give impact, as opposed to in the weeds of that one-on-one stuff, because there's no longevity in that. I'm gonna literally strip away all the progress in every other area of my life due to those things. So I took a step back.
Bro, couldn't be more real, because that's what I'm in, or have been in, right? I've been coaching now for 2.5 years. And I guess for me, like, I've been through some of the most horrific trauma, suicide, mental health issues, all the things, right? So I can relate to a lot of people's things too. So I guess I come from a place of like a lived experience where it's still very visceral for me when I hear these stories. I've gotten to a point where I don't take it in. Sorry, I don't take it on. I take it in so I can hear it, I can accept it, and then give them the guidance that they might need. But I've been in the exact same space where it's like, how do I make impact that I want to make, that I started this all for, doing it one person at a time? So it's now shifting to, I come into a corporate space and I help top level, which then filters into their employees, which then filters into the clients and customers. So now it's leading to a space where I'm working with big corporate businesses, multi-millionaires who can, one, afford the work that I offer, but then also everyone around them benefits. So it's like this massive, bigger scale impact, but that transition has been tough too. Because I loved, as you said, I love seeing people transform. I love seeing someone go from, I can't fucking get out of bed, Trav, to, holy shit, Trav, I just quit my job and started a business. That's because of you. But I said, that's not because of me. That's because of fucking you. You got up out of bed. You did the hard work. You did the gym. You did the cold showers I got you to do. You are now at a point where you've built this mindset that you can achieve anything you want. I just helped you get there. I didn't fucking do it for you. So, but I agree, bro. Like, there is points where I've been doing this stuff and I'm like, holy shit, I can't even focus. I just did 6 back-to-back sessions because I had like 20 clients at one-on-one. How am I meant to do anything, show up in my relationship? I've got a beautiful fiance, even our dog. You know, your other parts of your life start to get affected. So I couldn't agree more. So I guess now, knowing that, how do you continue to create this impact that you're on right now?
I think there's long-term and where I want it to be and where it is in the short term to maintain that. And I think where I'm at now is doing more. I basically have the same processes, but just follow along so they can do it on their own. And any questions they have, they can be sure to reach out to me. But I think honestly, it was one of those things where, like, the money it was making is not worth the amount it's stripping away. The more I get experienced in business and I value my time more, the more I think my hour's worth.
Yep. And
I got to a stage where quite literally I'm like, my hour and the energy that hour will exert, because it's quite intensive 1 hour call, is not worth anything a lot of people will pay. Like, you need to pay me in the thousands to do that because you're taking away a lot from me. And the reality was, like, it was not making me $1,000 an hour. I was doing like it was a premium price, but it wasn't enough for me to go, okay, this is worth it, because it's not 1 hour.
Yeah.
It's the 4 hours following where I can't flow because I've just listened to someone's story that I don't really want to onboard onto me.
Yeah.
It's like onboarded all this weight that I've now got to try and offload before I can move on to something else. So for me, the impact and I was speaking to someone who's really spiritual yesterday. He dropped off some of his product, a brand I work with, Mana, And
Oh, I've seen that before. It's gone.
Mana, yeah. So I work really closely with them. I'm actually going to America in June with the founders of Mana.
Amazing.
But Brad was over and I was just talking to him about this concept of impact. And for me, I'm in a phase of my life where I've got a new AI startup that I'm building, and I'm really heavily investing my time and trying to grow that. And I'm in a phase where I want to make a shitload of money and then so I don't have to worry at all about any money. Then I just want to go out into the bush and write a book and mega impact where I've got my lessons and the value for people physically in my hand. So it's not a fleeting number that's just constantly growing. You get 100,000 views and 100,000 saves or shares, and you just look at it and it's a 100 and a K and it has no value. I want something physical that like can properly, I get goosebumps. People can change their life from it and it will stand the test of time. And for me, like that's something that I'm really striving towards in the next few years is writing something.
That's exciting, bro. Do you have the name of it in your head at all?
Yeah, there's a holding name called You're Too Young. And the reason behind that is because most people that are young never give things a crack because they think they're too young, and they're being told they're too young, they're too naive. And I like to flip that and go, no, age and naivety is not a negative, it's a positive. And being young, as you said before, the people that actually matter and are where you want to be, see your younger self their younger self in you. So it's actually an advantage. They want to help you more than they want to help someone that's in their 30s or 25.
Yeah.
So when you're in your teens, like you've got this advantage for these people in the right rooms. So use it. But then the naivety is what will even put you in those rooms in the first place. Because when you think about where I met the most amount of my people that have really helped me, been going to these shitty pitch fest events that, there might be Gary Vee as a main speaker, but then there's like 10 other guys trying to sell you a course beforehand. And I would go to these events and I never had the money to buy any of this stuff, but I was just naive enough. Like if I was 25, I probably would have never gone to those rooms and met those people. And so I really want to talk about my story, how many times I've been slammed on my face, how many times I've been told, mate, you can't make this much money at that age. What are you even are you kidding yourself? Come on, mate. Like check in with yourself, get into reality. And I want to be able to tell this story that I've been on from, having no money in the family, like having different things in my family go wrong, like divorces and stuff and they're all, and the root cause of that's money. And I want to be able to tell the story of me moving out of home and sharing a bed and all of this stuff that I've spoke to you about in brief and the really low lows and the slams on the face and the ability to get back up, because that's how people judge you. And no matter how many times, it's like that photo of when that guy's picking at he's like, you've seen that thing?
Gold mine?
Picking at the gold mine.
Yeah.
And there's a dude that walked off when he was this close. And there's a dude that kept going. And it's basically, that's been the story of my life, because you're non-stop banging and every single time you get slammed in your face, it's hard, sweaty, and it's draining. And you're like, when am I going to hit this gold mine?
And you see other people leaving too. Like other gold miners are next to you going. And
you also see others getting the gold mine with way less work and getting way more credibility with way less work. And so you've got to find this balance between the people that are leaving that gold mine and then you're questioning if they're doing the right thing, and then the people that are hitting it way sooner than you, and then you're going, what the fuck, man? And you've got to keep going. And the reality is you've just got to keep going. And that's what I want to talk about.
I love that. And I'd love to go into your story, talk about hard work, exactly what we just went into, but I want to share with you something. So something you said the other night actually triggered something in me. I was like, damn, I'm actually making it harder for myself for some reason. On an unconscious level, I feel that I've been making my journey harder than it needs to be. Why haven't I been doing the simple things? I've got 100 fucking episodes of reels that could just be pumped out and just the right clips, right? As you said, pushed onto TikTok over and over and over again with the right audience, the right things. I would have had a much better chance for me to actually grow my audience, because at the end of the day, it's a tool for us to leave impact, right? I said to Caleb yesterday, one of the biggest things holding me back is the numbers on my Instagram. At the end of the day, if I had more social proofing, maybe I get bigger guests. all that sort of stuff. Maybe I'll make more money, all that sort of stuff. I think about this. I've been at this for 2.5 years, and I'm only just now kind of starting to break through that gold mine, right? And I'm like, fuck, I've been using a pickaxe when I've had these drills next to me, all like left, right, and center. Why the fuck? But all it took was someone like yourself, who I see, you know, killing it. I hear from my successful mates, he's doing really well. In my heart, I didn't take that as, fuck that cunt. Like, why does he get that? I took it as, damn, this is sick. Like a 22-year-old doing this. Man, let me just, you know, get some advice from him, listen to his story, what he's doing, and just follow along, because success leaves trails, right? We hear it over and over again. Why the hell would you try to create the wheel again when it's already been created? So I just want to say thank you.
Well, it comes back to what we said at the start, standards.
Yeah.
Like you need to be surrounded by people that have that standard, because as the tide rises, all the boats do too.
Yep.
And you need to have these people around you that set a standard. And so for me, and this is why, like, you'll notice when I walked into the studio, like, you'll notice I'm very firm with my thoughts. But it's not in a bad way. It's in a way where I go, I want everyone to lift up with me.
Yeah.
So let's go on this thing and let's hold each other accountable. When I'm doing something shit, fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Like, that's why when you said, oh yeah, I just bought these, I was like, yeah, cool. The only thing is I wouldn't wear them because it's not what the greats do.
Yep.
And when you reflect on that, I go, I could have easily done that. I could have easily not hired studios and spent all this money on my podcast. But I'm 9 episodes into my podcast. I just released the 9th one. I've got nearly 50,000 followers on TikTok on the podcast page, 20,000 downloads in 8 weeks.
And congrats, by the way, bro. That's sick.
And you look at it and go, what I decided to do was go pro. And I realized that shiny object syndrome is real. There's so many things that are coming to me. So if I say yes to one, I've got to say no to another. And when I recognize that, I go, okay, I'm saying no to everything. If I do this mediocre, I'm saying no to all these other opportunities and not putting my best foot forward when it's not that hard. And just on that as well is what I'm learning is more and more and more is there is a massive difference between good and great.
Oh,
massive difference.
Say that louder.
and too many people, in fact, basically everyone settles for good because it's not okay, it's good. But good won't cut it, and good won't blow up, and good won't get you traction, which in turn makes you leave a bigger impact, which in turn makes you grow quicker, which in turn makes you work less for the same result. As you said before, offline, hard work, the concept of that. It's like, if we're going to do something, like fucking do it and study the people that are actually winning doing that thing. Like, it's like you're wanting to do what these people are doing and they've got a target that they're shooting at and you can see them executing that perfectly. They're hitting bullseyes every single time. And we just decide to go, I want to hit those bullseyes too, but I'm not going to study how they do it. I'm just going to go do it myself and do it is convenient and easy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, fucking study the best and you will become the best. Just give it some time.
I agree. And it's something that Chris Williams said on his podcast. It was like he made more in 4 months than he did in the 4 or 5 years before he even was doing the podcast.
Yeah.
But his quality has always been top notch, right? Eventually it took, I think, like 500 or 600 episodes before it really started to take off. But I don't know if you remember, but I just started seeing him pop up on TikTok all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden he's fucking everywhere. But that's kind of how it works, right? It's like, did you feel that? Because I'm assuming, bro, let's go back to when you were in school. Because one thing I heard was that school was an interesting experience for yourself. Have you always been different?
I just run a market at school. Like, when I reflect on my time in school, I would have not been my friend.
Was this up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you grew up in Goldie, yeah?
Yeah. I moved to the Gold Coast when I was 12. I grew up in Airlie Beach in the Whitsundays.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. But I was born there, and I from 12 to 18, I was living in the Gold Coast, and 12 to 18 is when you're really growing up. And so for me, I kind of look at like that as I grew up, I went to high school here, everything like that.
Yeah. The real shit went down there.
But I was just this cool kid. I run a mark, captain of the footy team, get all the girls. I won the Jock Award at school in grade 12. Like, all the students like had to vote for all these awards, and I won the Jock Award, like the cool sport kid.
Yeah, athletic kid, yeah.
And
was it rugby league or AFL?
AFL.
Yeah.
And like I I wasn't going to go to uni. I was lost. I was so lost on what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to go to uni because I didn't want to do any of those careers. I was primed for change. I was ready for change, but I didn't know what that looked like. And then I started hanging out with my best friend, Sam, and he exposed me to some of the stuff he was working on. And it's so full circle now because the one person that he was telling me about when we were 16 was Adam Hudson. And Adam Hudson is now a partner in our new business and startup and an investor. And like, it's full circle because he's like the number one mentor out of everyone globally is him in terms of mine and Sam's eyes. And we were just these young guys that would, go, I would not bring a single workbook to school in grade 12 after we were exposed to this business thing. And I would just bring like a Rich Dad Poor Dad or something to school, and I'd read it in maths, and I would just flirt with the girls and get the girls to write my English assignments. I didn't bring a single book to school, and I got like straight B's in school because I didn't do very hard subjects. And so it just wasn't for me, but in grade 12, it was extremely challenging. And this is what you're probably referring to. It's, I was the cool kid and I got into business and I started talking about business and I lost all my friends overnight. I literally, no one answered my calls. No one would hang out with me. It was just me and Sam.
How'd that make you feel?
Well, it's just like everything in life. You question what you're doing.
Yeah. You're
going down a path that's way harder.
Fucking low.
And I went to a state school and no one supported that. And when I wasn't going to school, when I would go to school, all my friends would be like, mate, Mr. Businessman, like, what are you going to do? Become a trader? You're not going to uni. What are you going to do? I could just get a trade. And I was like, no, what do you mean? And it was so funny. And I'll fast forward the story a little bit because I've spoken it so many times. But when I left school, I was telling them all, I was just trying to help them teach. I was so excited. I wanted to help my friends learn the things I was learning because I was learning like at an extremely fast rate. If you look at me from day one of grade 12 to graduating grade 12, two completely different people because of the self-growth and business journey I went on. And
just from books and mentors and things
books,
like that?
mentors, trying different businesses and just obsessing over it. I used to play video games and overnight I didn't pick up a controller for the whole year and just would read before bed. I was learning, I was networking, I was going to events. I ended up getting a sales job like up straight when I was finishing school, and I moved out of home straight after school. But fast forward 12 months after school, I'd moved to Sydney, we were in lockdown, we started a tech company and we raised $80,000 for 10% of the company. We valued the business at $800,000 after 4 months of operation.
Yeah.
Sam and I in lockdown in Sydney.
What sort of tech company?
It was a tech company, but it was heavily, I say it's a tech company, but it was like heavily service-based and tech, but it was basically going to be an app that connected car cleaners with people who want to get their car cleaned, and it was a mobile service. Ooh. So all of our clients would pay on a subscription every month, and based on the frequency they wanted to clean their car, they'd just pay accordingly.
Yep.
And so they had like packages for one every 3 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, cool in hindsight. A lot of problems with the
making it happen.
With making it happen. There's a lot of red flags in the business. But I looked back 12 months after finishing school, and there was only one of my friends that was still in uni. Everyone had dropped out of the third except one. Literally every single one. And I was like, there's got to be a problem here. There's got to be something wrong. Like, how can every single one of my friends, they all went to uni, yet only one of them's left? I was blown away. And so this is where I was like, okay, there needs to be, there's a flaw in the system, because what people actually want is you can't even get out of school. So then I went on this big thing, and then when I first started posting content, I made the page before More Chris Griffin was called Primed University. And the whole thing was priming kids, bridging the gap from school to the real world. And I was teaching them different lessons. And that's where like that all started, because I just was like, it was the hardest year of my life, grade 12, because I lost all my friends and I went against the grain. But quite frankly was the most transformational, because all those friends came back and was asking me for advice. And I was like, yeah, now you want advice.
Of course.
When you've got into this degree that you hate and you realize it's not something you want to spend the rest of your life doing, you'd probably prefer to kill yourself.
Yep.
Now you want my advice on what books you should read.
Yeah, right. And I'd love to. There's a moment there, and people love this. In the stories, we talk about the hero's journey, right? When the hero's going through the battles, they have to go save the damsel, they go through their self-discovery, all that sort of stuff. There's something you just said then that really hit me, is that you were gaming, and then overnight you put down something that's super addictive. Like, I'm a gamer myself. I still play here and there. But some kids, man, they can't get over that shit. Like, the dopamine that you get from that is massive. To think that you found something in you that lit you up so hard that you dropped something like that overnight, what was it that lit up in you? Do you reckon you could pinpoint that or give us a visual or something?
Well, it's just a realization of like you've got to get clear on why you're doing things as well.
Yeah.
And you only game if you are working really hard at something and you want something and you love it and you want something to switch your mind off, or you have no purpose or drive in your life and you don't have a clue on what you want. So you resort to something that's just stimulating and fun that gets your mind off life and reality. When you're playing a game, you literally don't think about anything else. Like, you literally don't. And the problem is you blink and you've been playing it for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so for me, I didn't have time to play games. Like, I was on a mission. I was exposed to all these people that were making all this money. And I was like, I want that life. And if I'm playing games, all of a sudden, I am literally feeling guilty because I could be reading or learning or starting something new. And I was this kid that was just running away from, like, the life that I didn't want to live, which was different challenges my family had. I was so motivated to give my family the life that they deserve, and me live the life that I deserve, build the characteristics that are going to, that are going to attract my dream mother to my children. Like, all of these things are not going to happen when you game. Like, we need to build character. And how do you build character? Not video game character. How do you build character in your life? And it's by getting slammed in your face, by doing things. And the pursuit of earning that money or the pursuit of gaining that success is where you build these characteristics that are actually valuable. And sitting on my ass wasn't going to do that. And no one was going to motivate me to do that. And so I had to just look within, and quite literally it just switched. And, I think when it comes to gaming as an example or whatever, we're all motivated at doing something. Everyone has motivation right now, but it's just, what is that motivation on? Like, when you actually think about it, you are motivated to do certain things. Like, you might not be motivated to do things that are good for you, but you're bloody motivated. When you actually break down what motivation means, it's like, we're all motivated at doing something. You just need to be able to switch that motivation and focus. And Stephen Bartlett talks about the discipline equation. I'm not sure if you ever heard of it.
I think I heard you mention it in another potty, but I can't remember what you said.
Yeah, but I love this too, because it's like the psychological pursuit of you doing it. How much do you actually enjoy doing that thing, and rank it from 1 to 10? And then you have the psychological pursuit, how much it actually means to you. Like, how much do you care about that thing, ranking it from 1 to 10? And you add that up and you get a number. And then you subtract how much friction there is between you and the task. So, like, from 1 to 10. And if it's a negative number, you will not do the task because you don't enjoy it enough and you don't care about it enough. So if it's hard, you're not going to do it. So you need to be able to enjoy the psychological pursuit of doing that thing, and then you need to care about it. And if those are high enough, it doesn't matter how hard the thing is to do and how much friction there is to do it, you're going to do it.
Yep. And
so it's just stripping back about, if we can find meaning and enjoyment, then it doesn't matter what hurdles we have to jump over. We're going to keep doing it anyway.
Oh, dude, I couldn't agree more, and you're so well said. I had a guest on recently, Michael Mojo, and his whole thing is driven mofo. So he's a business coach, fucking super successful. And these are the sort of people I've been getting around lately. Like, he has a McLaren and an Audi R8. And then I had Shane over from New Zealand that has this Ferrari F30 or something like that. I'm getting around these people that people hear me saying, Trav, but their cars and this, and this. It's like, it's not about that. Their level of achievement based off those things doesn't mean shit. What they said is that their mindset that they've had to build to get those things is what I'm so excited about. And what Michael said really hit me off the base of what you've just said. And he said, Trav, when you can find success in the suffering, you win. Like that line in itself fucked me up because all I've done is suffer, but I love it. There's a part of me that loves and knows that if I go through suffering, something on the other side is going to be really fucking good. Now, a line I use at a lot of our men's workshops, the boys take this in really well because it's visual. And I can't remember what podcast I heard it on, but it was about the buffaloes and the cows. Have you heard that before? No. So when there's a storm coming, the cows run the opposite way. They try to get away from it. But eventually the storm catches them. They get tired. They eventually die. The storm literally kills them. The buffalo, they see that motherfucker coming and they run towards it because they know they run towards it, they come out the other side. So they have to deal with it for a little bit. But on the other side is the running water, green pastures, all the beautiful things. So they ran towards the suffering and it just went through it rather than trying to fucking run away from it and not face the fears. And look what happened to them. They benefited from it. So I know even the last couple of months, bro, have been tough. You know, it's business transition. It's self-transition. I'm going to another level, which I've had multiple moments of that. And there's been moments, and I don't know about yourself, but where I've wanted to give up multiple times, but I don't think I'm in the right thing if I don't have those feelings. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think giving up isn't something that I resonate with it at all, but the suffering, boy, my God. But as you said before, like seeing success in the suffering, it takes a lot of suffering to come to that stage because I don't fucking like suffering, but focus on the things that you can control. If it's happened, there's no point dreading on it. And also recognizing that it's a pendulum swing. And if it swings one way, it's got to swing the other. Yep. So if there's negative, there's going to be positive. And understanding that, that's where the success in the suffering is. Because then you go, oh shit, like, fuck, this is painting an even better story. Oh my God, those goods are going to be so great because you're comparing it to the bad. Right. And this is the problem with people that don't have any hard times and don't go through any challenge is the good's not great. It's just normal.
Yeah.
And they don't enjoy it. And that's why whenever I go through sufferings and challenges, and yes, the last 2 months has been fucking challenging for me too. So challenging. Like people don't actually see it. And it's like Instagram is quite literally a highlight reel.
Like any football player can look good if you just look at their highlight reel.
Yeah, exactly right. But if you look at my Instagram right now, you look at it and go, this guy living the most perfect life. He's got it all down pat. He's cracked the code. And you go, sorry, dude, but you could not walk a day in my shoes without crumbling.
Would you be happy to expand on any of that and what you've been going through?
Well,
without getting too personal, obviously.
I think for me, like when you document a highlight reel and you post it, what you do is you get nonstop praise and messages every day of how well you're doing and everything. And so what happens again, right, is that roller coaster of highs and lows. If you celebrate so high, you're going to have these crashes and lows. And so it's been a battle because you get this level of imposter syndrome because you're documenting something that's so amazing, but then you go through certain challenges, like living, like I've still got a place I'm renting in Rose Bay in Sydney, and I'm subletting it out. And you have people that don't pay rent for weeks on end, and you're fronting $700 a week just to have that place there. And then you go, okay, then there's that. And then you move into my new place, and then you've got everything that you're spending to move. And you look at financially, you go, I've dropped all of my coaching and everything. Yes, I'm still making good money with brand deals and stuff. But if you're burning over $3,000 a week in cash, and you're not if you're burning that, you kind of go, there's this pressure on you. And then you go, okay, but I can't go and redo that coaching again because I know how much of an effect it has.
Yeah.
So then that plays in your mind. And then you get another 100 messages in the week of, man, how can I swap lives with you? You've got the most amazing thing. And then you blow up. And so then you start getting in your head.
Yeah.
And so for me, you go like, I'm so blessed that I've been slammed on my face so many times. that now when I go through these challenges, it's like I can actually keep walking.
Yeah.
But like, don't try and wish to swap. The comparison's a thief of all joy. Don't try and want to swap your life with my highlight reel, because it's not realistic. Like you cannot go through it, and like that's just the reality of it.
100%.
And yeah, I mean, look, I haven't scratched the surface. There's been certain times that I've filmed myself and put it in a vault that I have not even opened up over this journey over the last few years, where proper breaking down, like times where I don't have a fucking clue how rent's being paid tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you've got to show front basically because you don't want to be shown weak or whatever.
Yeah.
And so there's been so many times where you really are challenged mentally, and I just think it honestly does really, really shape you and grow you.
I really like that, bro, and thank you for being honest, because this is what we're missing, right?
Yeah.
People being like that, and especially someone like yourself who has seen success in the way of what people might perceive, right? Success is subjective. Like, what is your success?
Well, I guess it's interesting. It's like, yeah, success is so subjective. I'm not complaining here. Like, I've had a shit life. Fuck.
No, of course not.
Life's crazy. It's like every time I've just been to this beautiful home that Nev would have been. He was there for 5 hours.
Yeah, I think Tice knows the owner as well. So
yeah. Eric. Yeah. And moving this beautiful home, I've got a sauna and ice bath on my balcony, and $24,000 worth of stuff. And you look at it and like I get goosebumps, and I'm like laughing every night of how amazing this is. I'm not saying I don't live a good life. Life's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's the polarity of it, right? Like, what comes with this.
But I think it's just relative, and documenting a highlight reel does have challenges, but it also has massive upside with brands wanting to pay you thousands of dollars just to get a part of that highlight reel.
Yep.
Like there's opportunity there. But I think success to me is much more grand and like success to me is not about how big I want a business to be or how much money I want to have in my bank or how ripped I want to be. Like success for me is how I want to live my life.
Yep.
And like I
and you're living that, right?
I take people through the dream day exercise of like getting really clear on like if you could do anything you wanted today, from wake to sleep, anything you wanted, wherever you wanted, with whoever you wanted, what would that be? What's the dream day? And when you actually get really clear and you narrate that in first person, your dream day, and you read that and you feel like you're in that day, like that is what success is. That's tangible. And I was literally on the podcast yesterday explaining this, but you go like, what is success to you? Well, to be exact, what success is as the sun's rising, my automatic blinds open up at the same time in my penthouse looking over Palm Beach. I slowly rise. My wife taps me on the shoulder and says, "Good morning, babe." And we walk down together as a couple and we go for a swim in the beach. The sun's still rising. We're getting these really nice rays on our face. It's golden hour and we've got a massive grin on our face.
Okay.
We then go back and do a workout together in our home gym, followed by a sauna and an ice bath. And then we go up and make the kids lunches and we get them ready to go to school. I hop in my black McLaren 720S with Alcantara steering wheel, and we drop my little son off to his school. And as I'm revving off from the school, I see all these other kids really inspired by the car that I'm driving.
Yeah.
Like this is a dream day.
Yeah.
You ask what success is. That is success. Yes, I'm going to pay my dad, mums and houses, get them cars, take them out of work, let them live the life they want to live. That's a given now. I'm beyond talking about that as success. That's a given. But what's actually success to me is that dream life. And you keep going down it. Yep. And you keep doing it. I then go home and do meaningful work for 3 hours and I help make an impact, something that I'm fulfilled by. It's like, yeah, then I go and make love with my partner, like for all the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
And when you can map out your dream life and you can get really crystal clear on it, like how I'm saying this right now, it seems like I'm pretty clear on what I want.
Fucking oath. And you'll manifest that pretty quickly through hard work.
Yeah. And so like that's what success is for me. All with an emphasis on making an impact and making an impact that stands the test of time leaving a footprint on my current generation, my children's generation, their children's generation, and beyond. Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't. Yeah. Well, for me, very much the same. Pretty much the exact same, bro. Like I've got a beautiful life now. The house is a bit different, but I know that house will come, like you said. And it's funny you said McLaren because I've been in 2 of them now, and I didn't think I could fit in them. But now I've been in them, like, fuck, this is gun. So I've seen the McLaren, I've seen the house. I'm on the Sunshine Coast for me. But yeah, I've got my fiance. She's incredible. I know she's my life partner. I've got a little sausage dog, like all those things, bro. Like, again, I've got a sauna and ice bath, but they're like cheapies. But for me, it's like, it's a representation of what's to come, as you said.
Yeah, it doesn't like, and that's the thing. It's just like, yeah, you still want to get the benefits of the sauna and the ice bath. It's going to come. It's not about stretching yourself, and and you've got to remove the ego from it as well.
Yeah.
It's like no, when you actually go through so much shit, you realize that it's just you and no one else, and like you've got to do stuff for you, but then you've also got to be there for you and realize that when your head hits the pillow at night, no matter what happens, you're always going to have yourself by your side. Yeah. And so that's the person you need to respect the most. And so I've come to terms with literally the reason I'm doing everything in my life right now is for me, my future family and my future children. And like, that's why I'm doing it. That's literally why I'm doing it. There's no, like, you have to remove all judgment and care, can't care what other people think, quite literally, or you're not going to be able to overcome those things because you're going to get slammed, you're going to get judged, like, and you've just got to move forward and you've got to move forward just with you. No one else cares.
100%, bro. I couldn't resonate more with it because it's like this journey, as you said, it can be fucking lonely. We meet some cool people, right? Like I've met Nev, it's a good friend of mine. I've met some boys here and my clients have become close mates with, and a lot of them are millionaires. And I'm now, the polarity of what you just said before, I'm going through that stuff too, where it's like I'm around these people making shitloads of money and easily, and they've already built these businesses. And I know I'll get there, but I'm in that awkward phase of like,
it's very hard.
Hey guys, like I'm just sort of getting by each week with my coaching business and it's growing too. But like, man, it can be tough to even just live in that polarity of that life,
It's so hard. And I think when you talk about that imposter syndrome, that's the main thing that comes in because you kind of question like, who am I? And that can be challenging. But it's just like that comparison's a thief of all joy because like I've spoke about this a bit, but one of my biggest mentors, which was Lewis, which was the reason I started posting content.
Lewis Huckstep?
No, Lewis.
Oh, Mocha, yes.
And he said, you don't need to be the best at what you're teaching. You just need to be 3 steps ahead of the people that you're teaching. Mm-hmm. And when I hear that, I just go like, fuck, I don't need to be the best in the world. If anything, the best in the world is not relatable. The people that are in the trenches that are struggling look up to that person and go, I can't ever fucking be there.
Yeah.
They want someone that's 3 steps ahead that they can nearly reach, but not quite. But then they can nearly reach it. So they have this hope that they're the person that's going to help them, pull them along the way too. Because the other person is too far away.
Yeah.
He's long gone.
What's the point of starting? I can't be like that, dude.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So as you grow, your clients grow. Mm. And recognizing that shoots your imposter syndrome in the foot. Because you go, I can actually make an impact. I can change people's lives. And through that, you get rid of that imposter syndrome because imposter syndrome is probably the biggest killer for people ever starting that journey.
Yep.
And forever putting their message out there, forever helping people. Like it stops people from doing the things that they want to do because they don't think that they're good enough. But you are good enough.
Oh, dude, would you say one of the biggest things you've seen with most people is fear of success and fear of failure?
Well, it's funny that you say fear of failure because Caleb talks about his brand was his podcast is Tickophobia, whatever it's called, and he said fear of failure. And when he told me that, I was like, I don't believe in fear of failure. Like Hormozy talks about all the time. It's like you don't have the fear of failure. You have the fear of what other people are going to think of you if you fail. Yeah. Let's go back to the video games. If you're in a video game and you're alone and you die, you don't really care. You just fucking spawn again and you start again. But if you have people watching you, you care when you die. Mm. And so it's the same with life. If you're doing something alone and you're not sharing it at all, you don't really care anywhere near as much if you fail. You're a bit bummed, but you don't really care. It's not going to stop you from doing the thing. Yep. You're going to try it. But as soon as you're in the spotlight, as soon as people are watching you, you don't do it. So you don't actually have the fear of failure. You don't. You have the fear of what other people are going to think. So if you can remove the fear of what people think, you won't have a fear of failure because you'll just do.
So then it's like a fear of judgment.
Yeah, well, you have a fear of how you're going to be perceived, a fear of like what people are going to think of you.
One of the most common things I see with clients is a father wound, where it's like every time you fucked up, dad would yell at you and say, "You idiot, you this." That comes up in repressed shadows from what I've seen. So a lot of people, same thing, where it's like, I don't want to try something to fuck up because I hear dad's voice in my head. That's a really common thing too. Vice versa with mums, with younger ladies. It's like they'll have these wounds from mum and the perfectionism that she expected from them. So why even bother trying anything? Because I'm just going to hear mum judge me anyway. So that stuff plays out in the unconscious mind. And the hardest thing is that people don't know it. They don't even know it's playing out because it's our animal brain that just fucking plays out every single day. And most people don't know how to uncover that shit. Because most people, their prefrontal cortex doesn't even start to develop until 25. Now, that is a thing that gets thrown out a lot. I don't know if that's even scientifically proven, because I see you and I hear you and I'm like, this motherfucker's prefrontal cortex is well developed. You're 22 years old. You understand things. You understand unconscious mind. You understand so many different things. You've got beliefs. You've got values. You can take in information, make discernment of it, and make your own observations of it, right? Which I really like. One thing Shane said in our podcast, he owns Something Dumpling in New Zealand, which is a fucking empire over there. And he said, Trav, the one thing that I struggle with these days is that everyone's just responding and reflecting everything else that's already been said. They don't take time to absorb, mix it up in their own little cauldron internally, and then serve it to the people best served hot. It's like, why don't people actually take time to think from the shit they're learning and then give out their own perspective of it? Which today, dude, I'm hearing things from you that I've not heard before, which is really cool.
To be honest, that's probably the biggest compliment that I can ever receive. Because
You're welcome.
Because to everyone, the way I can see the difference between someone that knows their shit and someone that thinks they know their shit is how unique the things that they're saying.
Yeah.
If something leaves your mouth that's unique, it's thought of. It's not fucking regurgitated Alex Hormozy like every single other person online. Yeah. I talk about I'm a culprit for talking about his quotes all the time because they're fucking good.
They're awesome, yeah.
But I like to have my own unique stuff that I talk about. And the way you get your own unique stuff is by actually doing the things. I had Simon Beer, the founder of Culture Kings, on my pod, and he sold Culture Kings for $600 million, and he's also got some other stuff that he's not too public about, but he's like a billionaire. And why I know he's going to blow up on social media, he's just started really taking off, but why I know he's going to blow up is because his shit's so unique. You listen to it and go, I've never heard of that before, but that is fucking genius.
Yeah.
And that's why you blow up, because it's unique and it's not regurgitated. And so for me, I go like, you just need to do shit that's significant, try shit that's unique. And through that, you're going to have perspectives and be very self-reflective in the whole journey of that. Because through that, you're going to have your own perspectives on things, and you're going to be able to actually provide a unique point of value. And that's where people are going to grapple onto you, because like they haven't heard it before and it hits them in a different way that they've never heard before.
Yeah, I love that, bro. It's really well said. And I couldn't agree more. Like, I've got a public speaking gig tonight in Brizzy and then another one tomorrow night up the Sunshine Coast. And one of my main things I talk about is failure, because I fucking love it. Now, the way I see it, I coined this term with like fail, F-A-I-L, for me is fast action ignites learning. So every time I just take fast, quick action, if I fuck up, that's fine. I've just learned whether I can do that or not. So my failure is just, I'm learning every time I try something, so through the last 7 years, like I started a clothing brand when I was 26 because my fiance at the time left me and I destroyed my knee. So I was stuck in bed for 6 months. And in that moment, I was back in depression again. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to be here again. What am I doing? So my decision was, I can either go this way, go down this path again, become depressed. After leaving the Broncos at 17, same thing happened. I come back to here and I'm like, well, I could listen to Tom Bilyeu Impact Theory for the next 3 months straight, learn some cool shit and do something with my life. So obviously I chose that direction. And I chose these mentors, bro, just through like Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, all these guys that are doing incredible things. And even then, which is when all this, I don't think podcasts were really doing that well then either. This is like, 8 years ago. I'm 34. So I started hearing all these things. I was like, damn, I've never heard this before. And then I started reflecting on some of the things we said. And like you just said, taking time to allow it to bubble within me and then me to speak it in my own unique way, in my own unique technician way, which even that came from my mate just saying, Trav, I love the way you try to rewire my mind. You're like a technician. And I was like, fuck, that's sick. And then the idea popped in my head of this guy with the tools over this guy with his brain out. That became my thing. And then all of a sudden, I love rap. I love rap music. So I started freestyle rapping all the time when I was in the car. So because of that quick thinking ability, that started to allow me to create content that was not written, not planned out. It's just, to sound a bit woo-woo here, it's fucking like connected through source, bro. Like I'm literally connected into whatever this shit is that's above us or around us. And I'm channeling some sort of like consciousness, right? And I know how wild that sounds for some people, but the other day I was with a client and I just had something screaming at me to say, bro, who's Jason? And the client was like, oh my God, that was such and such. This is what happened. And then we unraveled this huge traumatic moment from him that he'd forgotten about that helped him in the current time because it brought this unconscious story to the conscious mind. So it wasn't controlling him anymore, right? So as you said, if we can allow these things to happen, which I think, bro, from you and from what I've experienced in your energy, I don't know if you know it yet, but you're fully connected. You're plugged in. Now, I don't know if that means anything to you, but do you have moments when you're in the showers and stuff where you just get these wild like ideas and you're like, fuck, I need to write that down?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. The Mana guys we're talking about, Mana.
Okay.
They were on my pod. We spoke for 2 hours. We then went to sushi, spoke for another 2 hours. And I remember we were leaving and David just said, like, he's like, you get it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, that's a pretty hectic thing to hear because he's like, you get it. And it's 3 words, but it's so powerful to go, fuck, like, that's a compliment. Like that's hectic because too often we get drenched into like our own journey and we question if we're progressing or we question our worth or we might, be working so hard but not getting a single lick of the ice cream. So then we question if we're doing the right things. And all it might take is 3 words after having a 4-hour conversation. You get it, to give you this reassurance that, fuck, maybe I am doing the right things.
Yeah.
Maybe I am making the right decisions in life. Maybe I am giving it a red hot crack. You mentioned earlier about the prefrontal cortex and at 25, and yeah, it gets thrown around a lot. And it's really interesting because I tie all it comes down to is maturity.
Yeah.
And it's maturity in different areas of your life. So like you might be mature spiritually, you might be mature emotionally, you might have really high emotional intelligence. Like you might be able to be more stoic and patient. And, that's being mature in that aspect. You might be mature in fitness and you're a bit of a veteran. Like maturity is overarching, but then there's maturity in different areas of your life as well. But when you actually strip it back, and this is again part of this "you're too young" concept of like recognizing that maturity is not tied to age, and maturity because when you think about that, I was like, okay, why am I getting like people? Why do I get along with people that are 30 and 40? Like, why are some of my best friends mid-30s? And I'm 18 at the time. Like, why is this the case?
Yeah.
So I had to strip it back. I was like, why am I getting along with these people? I'm not supposed to. I'm too young. And then I had to strip it back and you go, okay, the reason is because maturity is not tied to age. Maturity is tied to bearing responsibility. So if you bear responsibility, through that bearing that responsibility, you you gain experience in that thing. So by bearing responsibility, you gain experience. Through doing that time and time again, the experience in that thing, you now become competent at that thing. So you're competent at that thing.
Yep.
And then when you become competent at that thing, and you go through the whole competency cycle by going from unconsciously incompetent, where you, before you go into something, you think it's going to be easier than it is, and then so you're unconsciously incompetent. Then you get into that thing and you go, okay, I'm now I'm consciously incompetent. I know that I suck at this thing. And then you get past that barrier and you go, okay, I'm now consciously competent. I'm competent and I'm conscious of it, but I have to be conscious to be competent at that thing.
Yep.
Then you get to that next level of unconscious competence, where you go, I can do this with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And this is the cycle of competence, right? Becoming competent. But when you tie back to maturity and you go, okay, if maturity is not tied to age, it's tied to bearing responsibility. Then through that bearing responsibility, you become experienced at that thing. Through the experience, you become competent. And then through the competency is where you gain maturity. And so if you tie it all back and you actually backstep where maturity comes from, it all comes from giving things a go and taking ownership and doing it yourself. If you live at home at 30, it's a lot harder to be mature because your parents are still making you dinner. And so, like, for me, I just strip it back and go, yeah, there's all these things about your I don't like all the 25 years old and your brain's not really growing until then and all the rest of it. And I go, fuck, maybe the small percentage of it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like an aspect of it which is exciting because I go, fuck, where am I going to be at 25?
Yeah.
But maybe there's a small aspect of it. But I hate when people throw that around because people then go, oh, okay, I'm 20. I can't do this shit.
I have to wait until I'm 25.
I have to wait until 25 till my brain fully develops.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a cop out.
Yeah.
And it will stunt your growth as a person dramatically. Because in my eyes, from the ages of 18 to 25, you're on this mega growth thing because like you're constantly learning new things and you're getting challenged all the time. And the more you step outside your comfort zone in those years, in my opinion, you can fast track your maturity by decades. Because then, and just to close that off, when you're 25, you're not as naive anymore. So you're not trying as many things. It's more closed off, careful, cautious, considerate. Like when you're young and reckless, you just give shit a go, meaning you're failing faster, meaning you're learning quicker, meaning that growth is actually expediting, as opposed to at 25, it might go like that.
Dude, couldn't put it any better. That was awesome. It's funny. I looked at my watch before because my mate was trying to call me, and he is a 23-year-old life coach. Now he cops a lot of shit because of that. It's like, what life have you lived to be able to coach this? Bro, he's the best coach I fucking know. He's the one that taught me about shadow work. He's the one that really brought the shit out in me. His name's Lockie Mitchell. And I agree. I couldn't agree more. Like he, if we go again down the path of the mana guys, I believe he's lived many, many lives before even coming here in this lifetime. You know, I think the same thing about you. I can feel that. It's like you've got wisdom beyond your actual lived life in this biological form. Your energy, if you've learned much about like how energy can't be created or destroyed, only transformed. If we are energetic beings, which is a science and a spiritual thing combined, it's one of the same thing, then who were you before this? Like if you went down that path of actually discovering that stuff, which I have, and people, talk shit about it all the time, but I literally, and I've got a video, which I'll show you after, in a breathwork, went back to a time when I was an Aztec warrior. I don't know what the fuck it meant at the time. And I was speaking in a different language in this physical form. But in my mind during the breath work, I was there. I was experiencing something that I'd lived through in a past life or ghost genetics, whatever you want to call it. And I was going through a moment where my wife and kids were killed and I was a protector of the tribe. I was this big scary motherfucker with a skeleton, armor, all this sort of stuff. I was there. And you can say it was a dream, you can say this, but what happened in that hour-long breath work was this deep wound that I didn't know existed, but was holding me back in life because I had shame and guilt for me letting that happen. So as soon as I healed that the next day, I created Heart-Led Warriors with my best mate, which went on to be one of the biggest men's work brands in Australia within like 12 months, So people can say what they want about these experiences that I've shared over the last couple of years, but I know you're probably going to have similar things happen, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting about spirituality because I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But like I'm so open-minded to it. And it all started from just girls that I've gone on dates with them. They just pull out the tarot cards and stuff. And I'm like, fucking
Crystals
again.
are out, let's go.
I'm like, again, man, are you serious? I can't escape these bloody
you a
crystals,
Taurus?
man. I'm just like, but then crazy shit happens where they start reading shit that you've never told them before. And I just, okay, I've got to have an open mind with this. And then you meet the mana guys. I've done holotropic breath work where I've had hectic awakenings and stuff like that before. And so I'm definitely open-minded to it. But when we look at like, you know, how you're saying like, what were you in your past life? Like for me, it's like, fuck, no, I've just done a lot of shit. I've made the most of my hours in a day.
Yeah.
I wake up at 4:30 a.m. All of a sudden, I've got 3 more hours every single day than everyone else. Like, that's fast-tracking my learning.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very logical in the sense that I just, like, I'm not at the point in my life yet where I just put it off to something else.
Yep.
Every single time, I just look within and just go, like, and like, I take ownership over everything. I think that's the best way I've learned.
100%.
I've learned from my past self and my past lovers by taking ownership of blaming everything on me, because through the blame I seek answers, and like that's been my biggest catapult for growth. Even with the breakup last year, was like proper excelled growth through taking ownership, and like for me, I just go, fuck, there could have been something a past life, there could have been something else, but I'm not letting that get in the way of what I'm doing. I'm just like proper obsessing over bettering me, and through that is like countless more hours than most people, and then through that it's like I've lived 10 lives in 3.
Agreed. And that's what Lottie says, bro. It's like, it's not the amount of life I've lived, it's the amount of life I've lived in that time. It's like, what are some of the biggest lessons you took from that?
Yeah, so I was copping some shit from this girl, questioning basically just my ability to coach, and I was fine, just not entertaining it at all. And then the guy, one of my clients was right next to her, but he was already my client at this time. But if we fast forward a few weeks before that, basically people come up to me at the end of the run club, and they would basically like come up and get a photo with me or thank me or something like that. And he was so scared. He walked up, he was shaking. He was just like really quiet voice, and he was just like, "Thank you so much, Chris. Like, I don't even know how much to say to you. Like, you just helped me so much." Very scared, nervous, in his shell kind of guy. And I remember I just bring him in and give him a big hug, and I just say, "Thank you, bro." And anyway, he kept coming to the run club every week, and every single week he just kept getting that little bit better, a bit of a more bubbly guy, and he just kept going. And then he eventually came up and he was like, he wanted to explore one. He's like, "I was going to buy one of your programs off your website, but I want a full immersion. I just want to work with you." And we did the one-on-one, kept seeing his life change. We went through some really cool stuff. And I just kept seeing, week by week, he was coming to the run club. Week by week, he was just getting better and better and better, more bubbly. He was getting in jacked shape.
Yeah.
He was just starting to look really good. And this was in a space of like a couple of months, max.
Yeah, how long's your programs normally for your one-on-one stuff?
The one he did was literally, when I was seeing all these results, it was like 4-6 weeks.
Yeah, sick.
Nothing.
It's all it takes, eh?
Nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, I left the Gold Coast. I've now stopped all my coaching. But I saw a photo the other day of him at the run club, still going to the run club that we created. And he was at the front of the fucking whole group of 100 people, standing there, double biceping it like this, with a massive smile on his face, properly jacked.
Yeah.
And you just look at this guy and go, his life's quite literally changed. He was in his shell, the most scared. He's told me everything. The most scared person ever. He was so scared to go to a run club because he didn't want to meet people. He was scared. He's got these old friends that are negative to him. There was so many things going on in his life that were no good. And he decided to just make some change. He was like, okay, I don't care what this guy's age is. I see his life and I'm inspired by that, and I think he could really help me. And he did it, and you saw his life quite literally change. And the message I posted on my story was just like,
I gotta say this.
of this guy that he messaged, just sent this message, and it was basically just insane. It warmed my heart. And this is why we're talking about impact at the very start of this episode, is because I got that one and went on with my day, and then received another one 2 days ago from a client I had in Chile. And I have a lot of clients all around the world. I had like Chile and Denmark. I had US, UK,
Ooh, that's
Finland, heaps of places all around the world, South Africa. And this guy in Chile had to finish a bit early. He had to finish the coaching a little bit early. And this was in December last year.
Yep.
And he literally sent me this message 2 days ago. So like 4 months after we had finished the coaching. And he literally sent me this message saying, I got it right here.
Oh, it's a big one too.
Hey, Chris, I hope you remember this Chilean guy. How are you doing? I just want to let you know that regardless I wasn't able to finish the coaching with you properly, I did put into practice everything we talked about and the exercises we went through. And you know what? It fucking worked. My life has been amazing these past few months. I'm not feeling lost anymore. I have new perspectives in life and stopped constantly chasing my purpose and actually started believing that I have already found it in me. We talked about motivation and discipline, and it's incredible how easily I was able to incorporate them into my life. I don't know. I just want you to know, I imagine it is always nice to know that one has made an impact in someone else's life. I'm deeply thankful. You truly can't imagine how awesome my life is right now. Dude, I'm not sure what exactly you deserve in life, but for sure it's something great. Thanks again. Hope you're going through a great stage in your life.
Bro.
And I received that 4 months after I haven't spoken to this guy. Nothing happened. He had to end the coaching early due to personal stuff. And you look at that and go, I got these goosebumps. And it's like, I can be going through so much shit right now. I can be challenged. I mean, I don't want to post 4 videos today, 2 on my podcast, 2 on my personal.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's hard work. And I'm late at night editing videos because I've been busy all day building this startup and I still want to put out value to these people online. So I make the video. And that's all I need to keep going. That'll give me enough fuel for the next couple of months.
Yeah.
Because I look at that and I go, that's fucking impact. That's the shit that matters. And to the people that kind of, question your capability of helping someone because of your age, it's not about that. And it's about me removing all my ego and going, if you don't want to be helped, I don't want to help you either. And have this thing of I don't care. And for you, it's like removing all of your ego that you're too old for me and going, no, I can actually see this guy helping me, and then just going for it. And yeah, it's a little story. Went on a bit of a tangent, but
dude, as I said, I felt like that needed to be said because what it led to just then was fucking cool too. Can you say what his name is, the Chilean guy?
Danielle.
Shout out Danielle. Shout out to Chris.
I actually shouted him out and I said, Daniel, and he's like, it's Danielle. But he's an absolute legend. Shout out to you. If you're listening to this, man, you're killing it. Good on you.
I could only imagine, bro, the people that you've called in are, good people because a lot of the time our external world is a representation of our internal world. So, but it's also levels. You're always changing every single day. So as you said before, when I first started, I was helping people with fucking heavy trauma, hectic shit. And now, again, like you said, working with people like people like Mark, these people that have created crazy success. And it's cool to know that as we level up, that will change. But it's that awkward phase in between where we're going through our own transition as well. Going through seeing the success that's possible. And then it's when's my time coming as well? But being okay with that too.
Yeah, well, I was blessed in the position where I could choose the clients because I made a post and had a type form inquiry where I had the price visible on there and I got 400 inquiries. And so I was blessed where I could just go through the list and pick the ones I wanted to work with, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed on that and I recognize that. And so with that, it's when you have this level of, I don't need to work with you, I'm choosing to work with you. Are you willing to work as well and do this? Are you going to be good to work with? And having that perspective when they're going into it, it's okay, I'm actually going to focus and actually going to try and get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And that's why these results happen.
Yeah.
It's removing away all of the need to be working with you and the desperity of that. And just being able to do it from the one, being able to choose and being able to go, okay, this guy, he's got a sick story. I think I can really help him and be able to help him. That's really cool. But yeah.
I love that. Dude, as I said before, when things cut out for a second, you've dropped some absolute gold today. But one thing I love to get is some people love just this part of the potty where it's topics with the tech. And I picked some topics that you would love, around business, wealth, success, all the different things. But some things that I'd love to get some input from you on. So
I'm so keen for this.
Bro, you can be as like short as you want, as long as you want. Let's just fucking riff back and forward. But
This is great.
there's a lot in here, but that's okay.
Find some nuggets in there, man.
So here's a great one. True leadership is demonstrated not by how many followers you have, but by how many leaders you create.
I don't know about that, to be honest, because leadership isn't about, I don't think leadership is about how many leaders you create. I think leadership is about how, well, there's a bunch of factors that go into being a good leader, but I think leadership is about being able to have someone look at you for an answer and go, I think this person can help me with something, and I also have trust that what he's saying has merit, and he's steering the ship. And I think like it's okay not to be a leader. I don't think the goal of being a leader is to create more leaders. Hopefully it can inspire people to better their lives, and if they feel called to lead people later down the line, then by all means. But not everyone's made to be a leader, and it's completely fine to not be a leader and be that second place person. So, I think when you actually look at a leader and a true leader in business and in life, one of the biggest characteristics that I love is being stoic, being calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
So being able to, no matter what's going on, be calm. Because as soon as you fold and you break, all the people that you're leading will break. So that's the number one thing, to be able to be level-headed no matter what's going on in your life.
Yeah, I love that. If I was to give a representation of a human that embodies that, Nev. I used to work for him, bro. That's how I met him.
At Switch?
Vast. So he has the RTO, so I was a careers advisor for him. And then during COVID, I had like a fucking panic attack and breakdown because my missus got locked out of the country at the time. But he held me through that. Now, having stability around me, especially within men, having those really positive male masculine role models and a brotherhood, like I see the brotherhood you've got, bro, like with, is it Elastiboy and what's the other dude? Alfie, bro. Like they seem like good dudes that help, and vice versa, like all three of you are helping each other elevate, right? Do you feel like being around other leaders helps you become an even better leader yourself as well?
Leaders, it's a really interesting term, if I'm honest. I haven't put enough thought into it. I don't think it's about having leaders around you. I think it's just about having people that have a high standard, that are doing cool shit, that are motivating. Because the whole goal is the people around you need to inspire you.
Mutual inspiration, right?
And the way that they inspire you is by doing cool shit.
Yeah.
So if they're doing cool shit, they're going to motivate you to keep doing cool shit, and that's going to level you up.
Yeah.
And it just rubs off on you. Like when you look at Jake and Alfie, for example, when I started hanging out with them, I was in good shape, had a six-pack, was like still considered to be pretty ripped.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like proper ripped. Like I wasn't like
to the gym,
show-stopping, like holy shit, like you are in good shape. You look like you're fit. And I didn't go and start hanging out with them and move in with them and live with them and say to myself, okay, I'm going to prioritize my health more. It just fucking happened.
Yeah.
And it's that whole concept of as the tide rises, all the boats do too. If you're in that harbor with people that are pushing you in a certain area of my life, it's the same with me. I was pushing them in other areas of life, in business and work. And it just rises. And it's like you're not trying to. You're just parked up in that harbor and it's rising as that tide rises too.
You can't help but grow, right? It's fucking awesome. In a world obsessed with speed, patience has become a rare and undervalued commodity in achieving lasting success. How are you with delayed gratification?
Delayed gratification is probably the key to success. I think you need to resist short-term pleasures in favor of something greater. But I understand when people don't resist short-term pleasures. And the reason they don't resist short-term pleasures is because they don't have something greater that they're striving towards.
Yeah.
Like resisting short-term pleasures in favor of something greater can only happen if you have something greater that you're striving towards. Because if you don't, then why not go out and send it? You don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
It's like for me, I can know that I'm striving towards these goals. And if I go out and send it and have a massive night, I'm going to be out of action or at least suboptimal for the next 3 days. That's 3 days of a 5-day work week or 6-day work week. That's 50% of my week done, which is 50% of my whole opportunity to get closer to those goals by having some fun on a night out.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, when you've got this higher calling and something that you're chasing, resisting short-term pleasures is easy. I don't want to go out. I want to have a beer with my best friend Sam. That's about it. Just because we both love beer and we can have a good and reflect on how much of a journey it's been. And it's always great whenever I have a beer with him. But I don't want to drink with anyone else or anymore. And because I've got such a I'm driving so quickly towards the place I want to be that it's just a no-brainer. It just seems so counterintuitive.
Yep, I love that. And one thing I saw the other day that I feel like I should post it, I forgot to screenshot it, but it was a physical poster of the life you have left to live. And what it actually does is it updates how many weeks you've already lived, and you can visibly see in these little dots how much you've got left.
I made a video on that same thing.
There you go. So I fucking saw that and I go, damn, is that all I've got left? But it's also like, damn, is that all I've got left in an excited way? It's like, I can get so much shit done in one day. What I can do in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, well, every single one of those boxes represents 1 week of your life. And when you look at it, you go, oh, fuck, there's actually not a lot of boxes left.
Yeah.
Especially seeing you've already ticked off like a quarter of them already.
Yeah, mine's a quarter. Yeah,
and it's like your life, your friend's life, your family's life, it's not that long. And so if you ever look at that, you kind of go, I want you to have a hard look at the life that you're living and how are you spending your time? And like ask yourself, get really clear on how you're spending your time. It's like, I know people that have double-digit screen times that are just doing the same shit with the same shitty people and their time is blinking. They're ticking those boxes. They're coloring in those boxes like it's no tomorrow. And I think it just comes back down to getting really clear on what you actually want and getting really inspired and then getting after that and going after that. So then you can look back when you tick off a box and you go, oh, I actually got one step closer to that life I want to live by filling that box. So it feels good about filling the box as opposed to, fuck, I look back and I'm in the exact same spot. Like, that's scary.
I love that. That's cool. Your comfort zone is the most dangerous place to be in a rapidly changing world. How do you stay out of your comfort zone?
Posted a video yesterday about that because I was getting challenged in the gym. I was doing an exercise I didn't know how to do. I didn't have the mobility for it.
What was it?
It was a clean.
Oh, right. Fuck.
My shoulder mobility and my flexion, I'm too tired, my triceps and stuff. I do a lot of calisthenics, bodyweight stuff, and I just was a bit tight. And I couldn't do it. I was getting humbled, like big time. I'm pretty confident in the gym, but that one exercise couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I was just reminded of a lesson in that gym session. I was like, how do we actually grow? People all the time say, step outside your comfort zone. You level up you. And you go, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
Quite literally, what does that mean? When you actually strip it back, the way you step outside your comfort zone or the way that you level up as a person is you do things that you don't know how to do. Because when you do things that you don't know how to do, you learn from that thing. Because if you do things that you already know, you don't learn. And through the lesson is where you grow. And so when you actually strip it back, you go, stepping outside your comfort zone is doing things that you don't know how to do. And by doing so, you will learn. And through the lesson, you'll grow. And so when you actually strip that back, you just go, okay, if I want to step outside my comfort zone, you ask, how do I constantly step outside my comfort zone? It's by doing things that you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And like, honestly, like too often we're comfortable beings. Like we like to be comfortable. And
pleasure-seeking animals, man.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's like, we like to be comfortable. So, you know, like stepping outside that can be challenging. Like, for example, I set a goal to, like, within the first 2 minutes of me being awake, I'm in my ice bath.
Fuck yeah.
Like at 5 degrees. Like my eyes are barely even open and I'm in there. And like, that's fucking uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. The reason I set the timer is because I'll just keep putting it off. I don't want to fucking do it. So I just got to get in there. And once I'm in there, I do it.
Yep.
And I'm doing it and it's done. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But now I've like stacked this thing before I'm barely even awake. I've already got a win for the day. It's like I've already won something.
Great way to start the day.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
One thing, bro, I'd love to go based off, because as you said, we're going against every animalistic thing within us if we're going towards pain. So we have all these mechanisms within us that are actually forcing us towards pleasure. Because of course we don't want to go towards shit that scares us. That's what we were innately built into us when dinosaurs and shit were around. Obviously, I don't want to go and attack the T-Rex. I want to go run and hide somewhere. So in this modern world now, if there's shit that scares us, there's something in us going, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? Like our fight, flight, freeze system, our nervous system. So I use my body to tell me to where to go. So Cody McAuliffe said something in an event 3 weeks ago, and he said, go towards the fraud. Wherever you feel like there's a bit of imposter syndrome and the fraud come up, and if I can feel it in my gut, I'm like, oh, I don't want to, but I go towards it. And I've felt it for the last fucking 2 days. So that podcast with Caleb, the podcast with you, the public speaking gigs this weekend, I fly to Melbourne Sunday for a business mastermind. I've got 7 days straight of like uncomfortable shit. And now I've been doing this for a long time and I love it, but something in it was uncomfortable for me. So I was like,
was
let's
uncomfortable
go.
About, say, podcast with Caleb or me?
Great question. So I felt, and I do a lot of introspection, bro. So I'll sit there and I'll go, what was my body trying to tell me? Because our body speaks to us. Our body tells a score. Somatic work is what I focus on a lot. And I was listening to it and I was like trying to picture, what the fuck is that? And it was part of me that felt like I really wanted to leave a good impression on both of you because I look up to both of you, not in a way of pedestaling you, but I love what you're doing, right? So going off what my childhood was like, where I faced a lot of rejection, and probably being on the spectrum a little bit, there's part of me that like fears that a lot with everyone I meet. I go, do they like me? You know, there's a part of me that still has that, even though I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
A part of me in there does. It cares. It
For
goes, I hope that person likes me when I walk out this door. And part of me probably gets a bit hurt when they don't, but I also just deal with that too. But I know I tapped in and I was like, damn, it's because I'm getting dudes on the podcast that are, you know, perceived as a little bit higher. Status is up there. I'm going towards a bit of discomfort with people I don't know. You know, I've probably played it safe with a fair few podcasts now. But the last couple of weeks, I've really started to go, fuck it. Who don't I know? Who's actually doing big things? And I have had some big guests on, but lately I've gone, no, you need to push this. You need to go towards, because I haven't been uncomfortable for a long time. I've done a lot of fucking work and there's always more to do. But as soon as I felt it come up, I was like, damn, I'm going to go towards it. So I don't know if you can resonate with that. If your body ever gets that, like the nervous butterfly feelings, what's something recent that's brought that up for you?
What it actually comes down to as well, though, to overcome that is just by stacking undeniable proofs that you are who you say you are. Yeah. It's like for me, I had that feeling when I was starting out the pod. I didn't want to get too big of a guest on too quick because I didn't want to have a shit conversation. Yeah. I was questioning my ability to have a good conversation.
This also means we care, right?
Yeah, 100%. But then what happens is you get a few pods in, for me at least, and you know, I had a podcast last year, so I've done over 20 episodes total. I've done like over that, but this one's only the 9th one came out. But like get a few in with some decent guests, and you go, fuck, I crashed that. Let's keep going bigger. I feel confident enough to just speak to anyone right now.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool feeling to be in. Because I've just stacked these proofs and I go, I haven't had a shit convo yet. Yeah. So on my pod, like I got off the pod with Caleb yesterday and I'm like, fuck. I was thinking like, fuck that. I did so shit there. That was so bad. Gotcha. But at the same time,
it was probably amazing.
Caleb literally was blown away.
Yeah.
And so, but like I thought it was shit.
Yeah.
Comes back to that standard thing. But you know, like recently, not really. I haven't had that feeling recently. I'm to be completely honest, in a phase of my life where I just feel fucking unstoppable. Yeah. Like I literally do. It's powerful. It's That's like, cool. It's this feeling where I'm very blessed to be in because fuck, it hasn't always been like this, but I feel really unstoppable. I just feel so clear on the things. You know, I cut out a lot of things that I was doing and just really honing in on the new AI startup and my podcast. And like by cutting everything else out, I'm just getting this way more bigger sense of clarity. And yeah, I just think it's one of those things where I'm quite happy with where I'm at, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm happy with the way I'm progressing and where it's unfolding. And so I don't have that feeling at the moment.
That's awesome, dude. And congrats, because it's I as uncomfortable as it can be, I know what's on the other side of it. As we said before, we go towards the fear. On the other side is usually some massive breakthroughs. So
yeah, just on that, I think you like for me, when I think of the biggest challenges in my life is when my basic needs can't be paid for financially. Because like I find when I am quite literally against the wall, where I don't know how rent's being paid, I got overdue bills and credit card bills and all the rest of it. Like when that's all surface, I find those moments are where they strip away all my creativity. I'm just fucked. And like those are the real lows where I just go like, I'm in my head. I'm trying, I'm banging my head against the wall at this thing. I'm just confident that's going to work, but I'm fucking just that pickaxe banging against the gold mine. It's like, when am I going to fucking get a lick of the ice cream?
Yeah.
And you never get it. Like those are the tough times for me. Honestly, I think those are the most challenging times I've ever been through my life. But I also think they're the most growth phases I've ever had, because they're my comparison points.
yeah,
Fucking they're lows, because like you just go, I got no one that can hand me out money. It's like, I got to figure that shit out. If I'm fucking struggling, I got to figure it out. And when you don't know how, you've got 24 hours to figure it out. And like, it's like, fuck, you got to do it. But then maybe you don't figure it out. And then you've got this burden of overdue bills. And then it's not like those go away and the new ones just disappear as well. And so then you keep going down this rabbit hole when you're trying to make things work.
Yeah.
Like I find those are times where those thoughts that you're explaining, they all pop up.
Yeah.
Real hectic. And like you get these thoughts of like, fuck, I'm a fraud. Like, what am I? Like you get all these fucking hectic thoughts come into your mind, and you just like, and those are hectic. But I'm in a spot at the moment where I am feeling pretty good about where I'm at, and I'm very blessed.
it's exciting, bro. I think, and I agree, like, been through many of those moments. At some point, for me to exit my job, what was it, 3 years ago, I was reselling shit on Facebook Marketplace and eBay to get by. I was going to like tip markets, op shops, and just finding cool shit, which I picked up a really valuable skill, you know, finding things that were of worth and reselling them. And it got me through to now live the life I want. So it was all part of it, but fuck, dude, I've been to that place many times, so I feel you.
Well, sometimes you have to be like, I would never recommend anyone be as crazy as I fucking like I quit my job with a negative bank account.
Feels, I have 400, I think.
All I had was a credit card that was already spent. And I remember writing in my journal, I'm like, fuck, here we go. Life's about to start now. Shit's about to get hard. Shit's about to get long days. Shit's about to get challenging. My back is quite literally against the wall. I had a $15,000 credit card with a negative $1,000. There was $14,000 left on it. I had $1,000 already spent and $0 in the bank. And I quit my 6-figure job.
What age was this at?
This was last year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude. And so like, I've never really told that story, but like that's like, you have to be crazy, like fucking psycho,
Delusional.
The confidence that I had then to make it work was like, you have to be delusional to even do that. Like you can't be normal, dude. You can't. Who the fuck, you say like, who the fuck makes them feel that uncomfortable? And but then you go like, okay, that was May last year.
Yeah. We're almost at May this year.
That was May last year, bro. And I had 300 followers.
Yeah.
I started posting content June 1st. End of June, I had over 100,000. By the end of November that year, I had gained over 130 million views and over 700,000 followers across Instagram and TikTok.
Congrats, first of all.
And so you look at that and go, fucking, that was crazy and ludicrous. But now my life completely changed, and it wouldn't have happened if I didn't leave the job.
You have to go all in, bro. From what I've seen from everyone that's created something amazing, they went all in. They fucking risked it all. Some of them did it from a safe
They got
place.
to the island and they burned the boat.
The fucking boats.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do it. Just on that real quickly, I know there's no secret fucking recipe for blowing up, right, and going viral, all the things. But was there something for you that really helped you just go, oos?
Yeah, the algorithm rewards consistency of the same thing.
Gotcha.
Because when you think about what the algorithm's doing is it's pushing content to an audience that they think will like the content. So if you post a video of you speaking to camera about relationships one time and it goes really well and the algorithm pushes that and it gets a good response, the algorithm now knows that, okay, the audience that the content that this page posts is going to an audience that likes this guy speaking to a camera with relationships. So next time you post, I'm going to send it to the same audience. So now if you go and post a cooking video with your new pots and pans, you send it to the same audience, that audience is going to be like, I don't like that content. So it's going to scroll. So the engagement will be shit on that content. So then it won't push it to anyone else. So then it won't blow up. So, and then you post another one and then you go back to the speaking. But by this point, the algorithm goes, fuck, I'm sharing it to people that like cooking content.
Okay.
No
so
one
that's
knows
why
this
a lot
shit,
of
dude.
your images, like when I go on your grid, it's like, it's your face.
Yeah.
It's like you speaking to your camera, pumping out some fucking cool quotes and things like that. And it knows that that's your Netflix series.
Yeah, well, I think honestly, I'm going against the algorithm now because I'm trying to branch out. I could have 1 million followers by now if I just kept reading quotes and speaking to the camera, but I wanted to branch out and do more lifestyle stuff. Every time I post a quote or me speaking to camera, it gets like 5 times minimum the amount of views of every other vlog I do or anything like that. Yeah. But I'm playing a long game with it and I'm trying to branch out into this side of it. But like, yeah, that just rewards consistency. So it's like post the same shit, the same style of content over and over again, the exact same shit, the same frame, everything. Elastaboy, for example, like he was on 250,000 followers and he was stuck on that for months and months and months, the same amount of followers. He decided to drop all of the strength stuff he was doing, all of the food stuff he was posting, and he just posted the one exercise movements of mobility with a caption over the front of it of like, point of view, like you're doing this for this thing or whatever, or the benefits of it. And he posted that twice a day. And in like 6 weeks, he went from 250 to 500,000.
Fuck.
And now he's making 6 figures a month or whatever, selling mobility programs.
Amazing.
And so you go like, it rewards consistency of the same thing. So you do the same thing and you're going to get way higher chance of blowing up.
Dude, thank you for that. That's huge. So for anyone listening, just show the fuck up and be consistent by the sounds of things.
Of the same thing. Yeah.
Find that series and give the people what they want to hear. The illusion of perfection can be the enemy of progress and innovation.
Don't let perfect get in the way of done.
I like that. That's easy.
Like honestly, like as simple as it is like being a perfectionist will stop things from being done. It's not like don't let perfect get in the way of like don't let perfect get in the way of done. You need to fucking finish the thing and actually do it. Yep. Too often we put things off too often.
Oh yeah.
Like I said that quote to Jake Elastaboy. I remember he was launching his app and it was fucking scary because he'd been building it for months and everything. And he's like, oh man, I think I just need to like fine tune this. I need to do this. And he kept saying it. We're on our Arvo swims and he kept saying it. And I was like, bro, don't let a perfect get in the way of done. And he fucking launched it in like 2 days.
And killed it.
And it's just like, it's like, we don't even, like we're letting our mind and the fear of what people are going to think get in the way. And you mask it with, oh, it needs to be perfect. It's not actually the fact that you want it to be perfect. You're just scared of the outcome.
Yep.
You drop the outcome and you don't care and you have zero expectation for the outcome. You won't be scared about making it perfect.
I love that. In an era of information overload, the ability to discern signal from noise becomes your greatest skill. So how do you discern what's valuable to you and what's not?
I think it comes back to that thing at the start where you say like actually internalize what they've said and make your own judgment from that thing, as opposed to just listening to something and then fucking copying and pasting it into your own mouth and voicing it. I think there's power in being able to say a quote, but there's more power in being able to say the quote than elaborate on that quote. And most people can't do the latter.
Yeah.
Like you need to, if you've seen any of my quote videos that I post, not the quote ones in the car, but like when I do like a podcast quote where I'm talking about hormones quote or whatever, I don't just end it at the quote. I start talking about my thoughts on the quote.
Yeah.
And I don't think people can do that as much.
Yeah, I like that.
So for me, then I elaborate on the quote. And if I don't really like it, then I'm not going to fucking, and then I'll get rid of that because I don't actually really truly resonate with. I like to think on the things that people say.
Do you ever go back to old Stoics like Epictetus and that and read their quotes, like the Stoic quotes that...
Marcus Aurelius and and Ryan Holiday is also amazing too.
Yes, yeah, is amazing. The strength of your convictions determines the depth of your impact.
Strength of your convictions.
So, and then the next part would be passion without conviction is like a ship without a sail. So it's like the intention and the conviction of it all is going to determine your success within it.
When you strip back conviction, it's like, how do you actually gain conviction in your voice?
Yeah.
Like, conviction is the ticket to everything. Like, you need to be able to show conviction in your message for people to believe it. Like, that's what holds the weight. Like, your message is the barbell and the conviction's the bloody plates on each side.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually the weight of your message, because I don't care what you're saying. I just need excitement in your voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when I have a partner, I don't need to be inspired by the same things that she's inspired by. But when we're sitting at dinner, I want to see her eyes light up. I want to see her excited about the thing that she's working on. Now, that could be Barbie dolls. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the fact that you've got conviction in your voice when you're saying, when you're selling it to me in a sense, I'm like, fuck, I love that. Like, that's great.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more, bro. And you just brought up a moment for, I know when my partner, she talks about music, like she's a professional musician and she does sound healing and stuff as well. When she talks about how vibration can heal people's bodies and like traumas and things like that, like I get emotional watching that because I know how much it means to her. So, and I felt the same about your content, bro. Like the passion you have behind it makes me want to listen and care. So I know with what I do as well, I have so much fucking passion for everything I do. But now it's like, it's taking that passion and conviction and using strategy within it as well. Like there's parts that I'm putting together today just from this conversation where I go, shit, this is what I've been missing. To the puzzle, to the pieces to the puzzle that I've been creating, they've been right there, but I haven't even just looked to my left to go, oh, fuck, there it is, and put it in. I've just been looking at the board going, what do I do? But then meeting people like yourself, as just before, I couldn't even see the fucking TV turn off because I'm looking directly at you. The tunnel vision's on, right?
Yeah.
So now I've just gone, oh, there it is. Sweet. Just from having an open conversation with someone.
But you know how that works, the puzzle too, though, is a lot of the time you got to pick up the piece and see if it fits.
True.
And people too busy looking at the pieces, trying to find the one that fits without trying to see if it actually fits.
Can you also see them, like, I can visually see someone trying to like, fucking fit cunt. And then someone just going, hey, just turn it this way.
Yeah.
You'll be right. Yeah. I like that. Last one, bro. I don't want to keep you too long. Sustainability isn't just an environmental concept. It's a principle that should underpin all facets of business and life.
Sustainability in what sense?
So I guess if we want to, bring it relevant for what you're going through right now, what's keeping you positive and sustainable with what you're doing? What do you do to keep that all grinding out, I guess?
Would it be along the similar lines of balance?
Yeah, that'd probably be it. Because I think hustle culture's come in heavily now, and I'm all about fucking working hard, right? But as we said at the beginning of all this, how do you make it so that you're not just burning out every time that you're on this grind, you're doing your things, you're doing your hard work? How do you make this sustainable for yourself on this journey?
Well, I don't believe in balance.
Nice.
I don't think you can be balanced. Like,
you can't in business, bro.
If you're trying to create something great, you can't be balanced. Like the goal's not to be happy, and you can't be balanced. You said you listened to the Sam episode. I'm not sure if you heard about the concept of happiness we were discussing. But,
yes, I really liked that. Yeah.
But Iman Gadji talks about this great thing where he's like, the goal shouldn't be happiness. Happiness is split up into three things. It's peace, joy, and fulfillment. And it's like, if you want to be at peace, but running a company is what fulfills you, then you can't be 100% at peace.
Yeah. Because
you can't be at peace running a company. But if running the company is what fulfills you, then you can't not do it, right? So like, the goal's not to be happy, and I don't think the goal's balance. I think there's balance on a macro scale, but not on a micro scale. And so meaning there's balance, say, across the year, but not in the week. It's like, I might want to go and have a few drinks and party for a couple of weeks on a holiday, but then I might be going all in for 3 months because I know the business needs me there. And business has sprints as well, in the sense that like, sometimes it might not need you much for a week, but then you might need to do 16-hour days for a 2 week straight or a month straight to get something off the ground. And recognizing that and going, okay, when it needs me, I'm there. But then also when it doesn't need me, please try and switch off, Chris, which is hard sometimes. But like, it's not. I don't think it's about balance. And the next thing you said there is, the burnout picture. If you are inspired by what you do and you love what you do, there's no such fucking thing as burnout, I don't think. Because like, it's the goal's not to work your ass on the ground as something that you hate. I like to split it up between green and red light tasks, and going, the green light tasks are things I love doing. They get me excited and they go, like a chat right now. And the edit might be the fucking red light task. I don't want to edit it, but the podcast, but I want to have the chat. So you go, the goal then is not about reducing the amount you work. It's about reducing the red light tasks that you're doing. This is where delegation comes into play. So you go, it's not about working too hard and burning out. It's about outsourcing all the red tasks as light tasks as possible so you can just focus on the green. And oh baby, when you focus on the green, the shit you love to do, fucking life's good. There's no burnout. And there's no matter of I'm working too many hours. You're working on shit that you fucking love to do.
Yeah.
It's about being in a position where you're earning enough money to outsource all the red so you can just focus on the green.
Yeah, dude. Couldn't be more spot on. Like, even this is exactly what this is. I walked in here for the last 2 days. I do what I love and what I'm good at. The boy sorted out. It's great. And it's really nice to be there because then every other aspect of my life will get to that point eventually. My fiance is an incredible admin and, you know, I guess structures and systems. So she takes over parts of my business now that I don't necessarily like and I'm probably a little bit shit at. So I can be literally the technician if we talk about the E-Myth. My skills and my abilities are what I'm strong at. Running a business, I love it, but I'm probably not great at it just yet. So let's just let someone else take over for a second of certain aspects so I can continue to grow, become better at what I do. And maybe I don't even have to run my business. Someone else can do it for me, but I just continue to show up as Trav, the technician, and become better at what I'm good at.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. I mean, sometimes I envy people that don't love business sometimes because like the nitty gritties of it, because I just love like the fucking creation of something, and the worry about that is like, when are you going to climb a mountain and you're not going to see another big one to climb?
Yeah.
Like the problem is like, when do you stop? Because to me, I just go, fuck, like I don't know when I'm going to be able to stop. I love it too much, but at the same time, it makes life stressful. It fucking does.
Fucking knows it does.
There's so many easier ways to live, man. Sometimes you just question what you're fucking doing.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the fulfillment piece comes into your life.
Oh,
and
right.
goes, like that's what's going to fulfill you.
I love business. I love branding. I love branding so much. I love listening to Chris Do. I don't know if you heard of him before. Highly recommend anyone to get in on Chris Do. He has like a YouTube channel where he'll post an 1.5 hour mastermind that people have paid thousands of dollars to go to and just post it up for you to listen to. I'm like sitting there like, what the fuck? This is all here, ready to go. So branding, business and everything I love, but there's still part of me that my ADHD definitely gets in the way sometimes, but I don't use that as an excuse. It's like, it's a superpower for me. I'm very creative. Nev's a bit the same. Like we can do 50,000 things at once, but sometimes one thing that we were focusing on gets left in the dark a little bit. So it's like, hey, someone who can focus on that, a neurodivergent, probably not going to get it done, but someone who can, let's give it to them. So I love that. Dude, this conversation's been fucking unreal.
Episode 100, baby.
100, 100. Couldn't be more grateful for you, for your time, for your presence, for your knowledge. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do moving forward, dude. I know you're going to kill it. You already are. I'd love to know what's something you'd love to leave the listener with before we head off.
I think it just comes down to doing things for you. I truly believe that most people don't live their lives. They live the people that they care about's lives. But the reality is when you're on your deathbed, they're not there because they're already dead. And when you're looking back at the life that you've lived, when you're looking back at the life that you've lived, would you rather be saying, oh, well, or what if? And like, fuck, those things you want to do that you're scared of failing or fucking up or people are going to think, fucking do them. Because when you are in that deathbed and you're looking back at the life that you lived, you're going to be proud that you actually gave shit a fucking go. Like you achieved some level of significance in your life. You actually tried. You challenged your brain a little bit. And you went through shit. So you have perspective on life. And you'll look back and you'll be fucking proud. You're not going to be saying, what if I did this? So that all comes back to doing things that you want to do, not what other people think you should do.
Beautifully said. Thank you. And thank you for anyone listening. As per usual, please make sure you share, reach out to us if you want to. As Chris said, like us hearing a message to say, hey, this conversation changed my fucking life. We want to hear that. We'd love to hear that. Because in that, we're helping rewire mind, body, and soul is what Technician is about. We change the culture and community together, not as just us two. So let's be a part of it all as one, and let's be about it, do about it, and get it done. And thank you for being on, brother. I really appreciate your time. And thank you for listening, guys. Let's go.
Let's go.